All right. Welcome back to another Wright Stew podcast. I am Paul Stewart.
And I am Brian Wright still, but it's amazing how fast the weekend goes once you get rolling. You know what I mean? Like, I know as a kid it always went fast, but now it just feels like we're basically to Sunday, and we are to Sunday, which means you're basically to Monday. It's just the cycle of time, Paulie. Cycle of time. Had some good sports yesterday. Good sports, specifically on some baseball.
Let's pause there. But how do you feel about a 3-day weekend? I know it's been bounced around a little bit. A lot of manufacturing does 4-10s and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What do you think of that? Are you in favor, or do you see some negatives to it?
I definitely could see negatives to it because, I mean, how much do you want to? I mean, you want somebody working on Friday, right? And maybe you have to rotate how things work. I think there are some positives from a work standpoint. I think if you're in a commission sales job, you probably work more than 10 hours some days, and you work less than that some days. I know I've worked with different contractors from different groups, and sometimes they're 4-10s. I would say it's probably a positive, but from the functionality and production of the country, probably not as much. Because the reality is, it used to be 6 days a week. I mean, one time it was kind of all, and then we went down to 6 days. We're to 5. Maybe we get to 4.
It's got to be one of those things where everybody buys into it, though. You can't do like some industries. It's like everybody's got to be on the 4-day work week. Yeah, I mean, with everything remote now, you're kind of always on call anyway, right? So,
yeah, if you're in a position where you feel like you got to answer somebody, or if you're trying to sell to somebody, you definitely feel like you need to respond whenever you get it because you got the little computer in your pocket.
yeah, absolutely. So, Brian, the big news yesterday, Brewers Yankees, not a competitive game, but a game that had a lot of runs. So the Yankees hit a total of 9 home runs. Aaron Judge had 3 of those. They had 4 in the first inning, back to back to back to start the game. So here, let me give you a couple of lines from the game. So Cody Bellinger goes 3 for 5, a home run, 4 ribbies. You're like, man, I'm player of the game. I got this. Nope, you know what? Because Aaron Judge went 4 for 6 with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. So pretty solid day for the big guy there. And
I'll say this, Bellinger, what I didn't realize, he had a bad year a couple years back, and everybody kind of thought he was cooked. I didn't realize, and it just speaks to how sometimes you think, I mean, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but like he had shoulder surgery, and you could almost see in his swing, even though he's got a kind of an untraditional stance. I don't love his stance. I don't love his stance. He's very still, hands high.
Yeah.
Kind of not what you would teach ever. But, dude, he gets the barrel there. He gets good bend when he loads. And creates, obviously, a ton of torque with his length. But he had a bad year. They kind of thought he was done. He got a 1-year deal with Chicago, and he performed. And now I think he's going to perform there. That's kind of a ballpark that's obviously conducive to all hitters, but especially lefties.
He's kind of built for lefties. Yeah, had some really, really good years with the Dodgers, and got a big contract, had a little injuries issues, but man, he's still only 29 years old. So
yeah, he's not old, dude. I think the perception is because he came up so young that he's like 35, dude. I thought he was under 30. Yeah, he's
20.
Still got a lot of productive years.
So I think he'll be all right. You got Paul. Let's talk a little bit about the construction of that lineup that they had yesterday, because that was really interesting to me. Paul Goldschmidt batting leadoff, Bellinger in the 2-hole, Aaron Judge third, Jazz Chisholm fourth, Volpe, Austin Wells, and then Pablo Reyes, one of the only guys that didn't hit a home run, and then Jason Dominguez, and then you had Trent Grisham in the 9th-hole. So I mean, the Goldschmidt, Bellinger, Judge to start. I mean, we've talked about some of kind of your big threes, right? We've mentioned the Phillies with Schwarber, Turner, Harper, the Mets with Lindor, Soto, and Alonso. Clearly, the Dodgers with
all of them.
Yeah,
whatever 3 you want to
Ohtani, Betts, Freeman. But dude,
Yeah.
Teoscar Hernandez might be one of the most underrated players in the big leagues, believe it or not.
Yeah, they had him mic'd up the other night, and very
He does
likable
it a lot.
personality.
He does.
Yeah,
I like Teoscar, dude. He seems like a really good dude.
that's
Just
a unique name too. I mean, I can honestly say I've never heard anybody else named Teoscar. I've heard
yeah,
Oscar, I've heard variation, but never Teoscar.
it's Oscar with a T at the beginning of it. But Brian, what do you think of having kind of like just some bib boppers at the top of the lineup?
Well, Philly has done it for a long time. I haven't liked Schwarber as a leadoff. I think Austin Wells led off the first game for the Yankees, and it's the game's changing. For the longest time when I was coming up through college, famously Florida State always put their best hitter at second, never third.
Yeah,
It was J.D. Drew and Steven Drew, and their best guy they always put second. And last year, obviously, Judge led off a lot for the Yankees. The reality is the lineup matters the first time through. You definitely want one of your best guys. You want your best guys at the top three. But Goldschmidt looks like a middle linebacker hitting leadoff. And the game's clearly changed. No longer are you looking for that great speed at the top of the lineup. You're looking for a guy to get on base. And then the next guy's going to hit a home run or drive him in. It's not. I would think you would be constructing a lineup based on base percentage, maybe at the top, and then you would do variables off of that. But clearly, the thought process and what they've done with the Phillies is spreading.
yeah, and I think because part of our task as coaches at the travel ball is to put a lineup together, and I think we've had some games when we feel like we can literally just throw our kids' names in a hat and pull them out, and it's all the same. But we try to do something similar. We want to get the kids who are hot or who are kind of top of the lineup type hitters more at bats, and I think traditionally, like you said, you want to get a speed guy or somebody's high on base, and then two hole was traditionally a contact guy to get him over, sort of thing, bunting, and their lineups are clearly not doing that anymore because it almost feels like a wasted at bat. Like, why put that guy up there? Like, I'd rather have Juan Soto hit again. You know what I mean?
I think there's still like the NC State had struggled to score runs. And so the first 5 or 6 innings of today's game or yesterday's game, they played small ball. They were bunting.
Yeah.
That game didn't open up till later where guys started bopping the ball. So I think you got to do what your lineup allows you to do.
Yeah.
But when you have those guys, I don't know if it really matters. I know you want Judge hitting a lot. Chisholm seems to really like the spotlight, so you want him, getting in those situations. And if you're in Yankee Stadium, that makes sense for him. I would be curious when a really good throwing lefty, gets after the Yankees, how that looks. But even with that, dude, you still got Aaron Judge, you still got Goldschmidt, you got some really good guys that, they've done a really good job. And all the fanfare was on the Dodgers. Nobody realized how good. I don't even think anybody really talked about how good this lineup will be if obviously staying healthy.
Yeah, and it's pretty incredible that the Yankees are just feel like they're under the radar a little bit. So yeah, so good start for the Yanks, 2-0 against the Brew Crew. Brew Crew's struggling a little bit, 0-2. But long season. NL Central, I think, is kind of up for grabs this year. So hopefully they make a little run. So Wright was watching. This was an interesting play. Was watching some softball yesterday. Watching my daughter play, and runners on first and second. It was I think it was a 3-1 pitch, and it was outside. The girl kind of check swung. The umpire called ball 4. So everybody advanced to base, but then they checked, and the umpire said, "Yes, you did." And she was already like halfway down the line, and the other girls had already like basically jogged to second base, and so they let them stay at second and third. It was like a stolen base because then the count went to full like 3-2, and then she walked on the next pitch anyway, so it didn't really matter. But it was an interesting. I don't think I've ever seen where there was that delay in asking for an appeal, and then the umpire giving it that late.
And I can only think it would happen in softball because the bases are further apart in baseball. So I don't think you can have that same kind of somebody's getting thrown out. If they're not stealing on it, they need to make sure. If it happened in between, I don't think I've ever seen it in a baseball game. And I think I think those guys would have I think your catcher is probably reacting, and throwing that guy out if they don't know. Honestly, I don't know what the right call is. What do you think? It
Yeah.
seems like what they
I
did is the
don't
right
honestly. I
call.
didn't know because softball's rules are a little different about with closed bases and if the ball's in the circle, you can't leave the bag, that sort of thing. I don't know what the right call is there, like because I mean technically it's just two stolen bases. The girl stole second and the girl stole third, right? Because it was.
Yeah.
I think that's the right call. Just leave them on the bag. It just as it was a kind of too much of a delayed check, I guess, but just kind of a weird play.
There are some weird things. There's. I seem to feel like I see some weird stuff every game that I watch. And it's you. I sent you the rule book of MLB. You said you'd already read the rule book at one point in time. But there are times where I have to question as much as I played. There's weird situations that I definitely don't know exactly. And I'm not one of these guys who's going to argue if I don't know.
Yeah.
Did the coaches get fired up or did they just let it go?
No, they just let it go because it was just kind of a dumb sort of thing that happened. There's also there's a lot of rules too that are changing and like at our level we can still do the old third to first move.
You can't
Right.
in middle school baseball.
You can't, but in travel ball you can, right? So it's
Well, you can't at 13 either. At 13, it stops.
oh they stopped. Okay, so well there you go. That one's out. But so it
But up
feels,
until 12, you could.
yeah, it feels like there's just a lot of we should take just collectively whatever the big leagues are doing and almost just trickle it down to every level almost, right?
Well, I agree. And the college game needs to trickle down the old pickoff, only two pickoffs, because you get into some of those games, man, they're picking off guys 3, 4, 5 times, and I know there's it would change the game the way it's changed the big league game, but the college guys, if they've got a guy who's really a burner and he's really a threat. First of all, their catchers aren't as good. There's some really,
Yeah.
really, really good big league catchers. But yeah, let's just keep it moving. It used to drive me nuts as an outfielder too. Let's just go. Let's keep it moving.
He's gonna run. If he's gonna
Yeah,
run,
he's gone. Yeah, yeah. I'm not. Hey, control your slide step. Have that in place. Do something to control how fast you get the ball there. But let's not pick over 6 times in one at bat when you're facing somebody.
yeah, I was never a big throw over kind of guy. I mean, I had a pretty good little slide step. I was more about varying and the hold times.
Yeah, I think that make a huge difference. Huge difference.
Yeah, I think that does. And then for a couple years, I had a guy I threw to the minor leagues, a guy named Brian Moon, had a really good arm and really took pride in throwing guys out. But you did get a lot of with runner on base, a lot of
Fastball.
a lot of
Fastball
fastballs,
away. Fastball away.
fastballs away. Hey, let's go fastball away here. I think it's a good pitch. That's a good pitch to throw somebody out. Yeah, but I think we had I think one year we had a really low, like it was in the 60s, like percentage, like rate. I want to say so. It was something real like that's really good, right? If you're getting close to 50-50 sort of things, it was effective. That was kind of my plan. Somebody's like, I can't get him out. Let me just let Mooney throw him out, and then. Uh, I think I've shared, but and so in 1999, I was in Stockton, California, in the Cal League, and the guy who did our PA, he was his name was Mark Ennis is his real name, but everybody called him Sharky or the Shark Man. He was the local hip hop DJ
Makes
on
sense.
the like the local channel, and he is now like the PA like DJ for the Savannah Bananas. So doing some really cool things, having a lot of fun doing it. But in 1999, anytime Moon would throw somebody out, he would go, "You've been mooned." I was like, "Oh,
That's good. That's good. Are you a fan of like the side effects, sound effects of like when somebody strikes out doing almost a sword effect, or somebody walks and they're this suits are made for a walk? Are
walking."
you a fan of when it gets personal? Are you a fan of kind of the music contributing to the?
I think it's funny. If it's clever and funny, I think it's good. I remember one time we were in West Tennessee. One of our pitchers, Jack Krawczyk, he pitched at USC. Actually, got the last out in the '98 College World Series. He was on USC when they beat A State. Um, he got pulled out of a game one time, and they started playing "Hit the Road Jack" by like Ray
Oh yeah,
Charles.
yeah. That was all. Georgia Tech, I think, did that every time, and so they were doing
Yeah.
a lot when we were playing
Well,
against
but
back
his
in the
name
day.
was Jack. So
Oh,
Hit the
well,
Road
I would
Jack.
just say that even better. I wonder if they did it for everybody or just for him.
I think they just did it for him. It was pretty good. So I think it's some of it's clever and funny, and
How about the three blind mice whenever you have a
the
bad call?
umpires. One umpire threw like a guy out. Do you remember that?
Yeah, he threw out the PA guy. He flew
Threw
out.
out
Yeah, he's
like the
like, here you
audio guy. Like, hey, AV guy, you're out of here. All right. It's a little too thin a skin
Hey,
there.
so you mentioned you had grilled chicken last night. I've got to give an update. So I had this rosacea, the skin thing, and like for the last couple of years, been battling it. I feel like I found a solution, and it was my own fault. Starting to get a little bit better skin, Paulie.
Look at you.
And maybe if we get good quality cameras back in the speaker studio, I will we'll show some of the skin off. But hey, dude, I have eaten an excessive amount of peanut butter for like 15 years. It was my go-to snack, like for everything. I was eating probably one of the giant jars by myself at least a week, at least.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100% serious.
Peanut butter. I'm not eating that much like in a year. It's a
No. I was eating that in a week. I mean, like the giant jars of peanut
like
butter.
just a spoon, like a spoonful.
I had my own personal jar. Yeah, you get in there with a spoon. It was a snack. It could be breakfast. It could be lunch. It could be dinner. It could be all of the above.
Good protein.
Yeah, and so you thought, right? I thought, hey, it's supposed to be good for your skin. I think I was over whatever is in it, the omega-3s, whatever, was too much. And so my skin and stuff just started reacting. I've given up peanut butter for the last 3 weeks. I haven't had any. I've got to find a new snack. And so I know you're the chef and you're kind of the connoisseur. I want to see what is your like non-chips. I don't want to do chips because I'm already fatty and not in the pH kind of way. What snack is your go-to snack when you're just like, all right, I'm gonna eat a healthy snack?
A healthy snack. Now that's something. I just made popcorn for the family last night. I got a big kettle I can do the popcorn in. We've got one of those popcorn machines. I like doing those. I wouldn't call that healthy. If I'm going healthy, I'll slice up some fruit every once in a while and have that. I used to love oranges. I could eat oranges or pineapple. Like it's so much work though, to do.
It is. It's not nearly as easy as popping off the cap and going bloop. My temporary go-to has been chicken salad, just straight up out of the can, or not out of the can, but out of the little containers in the refrigerator.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
made
chicken
some.
salad.
I made some good turkey salad the other day. I smoked a turkey last week, and then I took some of those pickles that I made, chopped those up. I had a jar.
Got my container. Hey, so for you guys who don't know, Paulie really could sell his own pickles. Like they're unique. He pickles his own pickles, and real pickles, and they are excellent. But they have their own unique flavor. Maybe we need some Wright stew pickles.
What,
Some
man?
Wright stew pickles feels right.
Jar 'em up, but
Hey,
but the
I'm
smoked
telling you,
turkey,
they're excellent, but they're not like everybody else's. They've got their own unique flavor.
a lot of vinegar, a lot of apple cider vinegar. But so anyway, the turkey had the pickles, the pimentos. I had some fresh dill, mayonnaise, mustard. Man, really good. Chopped up, and it was the smoked turkey too. So it had a nice little flavor to it. Really good. So it takes time to do anything right. It takes time and effort, and you really got to get into it. And so I wish I could say, Brian, I had a good healthy snack for you. I kind of I make breakfast and lunch and dinner for everybody every day. And
I know. Yeah, very commendable. I barely make it for myself. That's why I was so lazy. Was eating excessive amounts of peanut butter.
Just give me a jar of peanut butter.
Oh yeah, I mean that's all I needed, dude.
Oh,
I thought for the longest time, like if you were on an island, what would you want? Like you can have one food item for the rest of your life. And my easy answer was always right. So it would have been peanut butter. That would have been my one food item I thought I could have survived on. It's got fats. It's got everything that you kind of need. You need fats. Again, back to my lone show that sometimes I like to watch. The big thing is they eat like rabbit. There's not enough fat in the rabbit meat for them to actually survive. You'll continue to lose weight eating rabbit meat because there's not enough fat in it. And so the ketones or whatever everybody's on to when you go to a straight meat diet, you need to have some fat in your diet. But anyway, what would be your one food you would take with you on an
Actually,
island?
I had so my daughter, the youngest, we went to a daddy-daughter dance Friday.
I
Had
saw some pictures. She
an
looked
absolute
great.
blast. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And we were sitting at the table. We were just and there were some kind of prompt questions at the table, and that was one of them. And I think I said either pizza or hamburgers. Like, I mean,
Feel like you could eat that for every meal?
well, if you can add toppings to the pizza, that varies it. I mean, if it's one, like same thing with the hamburger, right? You can kind of mix it up and have some. And I love both of them so much. They're so good. But um, if it's just like one thing, I mean, it's again you can dress up. And I was thinking about this the other day. I was eating some chicken nuggets, and I was like, do I like chicken nuggets or do I just really love sweet and sour sauce? Like, which is the nugget just a vehicle to get the sauce in my mouth? Or,
I think it is. I think it is.
yeah.
100%. I think it is. I mean, especially Chick-fil-A sauce. They've done a great job marketing it.
Yeah.
We buy the big containers of Chick-fil-A sauce and take it to the house. And so not only do we buy Chick-fil-A, we buy the sauce for the store-bought chicken nuggets. And
Yeah,
so,
we made some of the homemade like Zaxby's cane sauce recently as well. My son wanted
you
to
feel like you did good at that? You feel like you got close?
taste it. Yeah, I mean, you can find any copycat recipe online. It was really close. Yeah, I couldn't tell much of a difference, but
I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan. I mean,
okay.
anyway, give it up peanut butter. Need a new snack.
Okay. So but
that
the
is
skin's doing
easy.
better. The skin's doing better.
Yeah, the skin. Hey, the bumps, some of the redness just went away. Hey, so I went to a dermatologist probably a year ago, and I'm not. If people who don't know me, I'm not a fan of doctors. I'm not a fan. I don't go. I'm trying to make everything kind of die at the same time: skin, body, organs, mind, all at the same time. And so, again, but I feel healthy. I feel good. So I go to the dermatologist because my face looks like I'm in puberty and I'm 13 years old, and you trying to do a sales job. That's not ideal. It looks like you're really stressed all the time, and that's not what you want to be. You want to kind of portray a different
Convey
kind
that
of
you're doing
personality.
well. Yeah.
And so anyway, go and they're like, they want to give you this medicine and there's these side effects. And I'm like, I'm not taking medicine. She gives me some cream. And so then I do what everybody does and I start thinking about what is my diet? What if I do? So I thought it was coffee for the longest time. I gave up coffee 3 weeks, transitioned really easily out of that. Little bit of headache, but not bad. And then I was like, that's not working as good. I thought there was maybe some improvement, but then gave up peanut butter. And since I've given up peanut butter, vast improvement.
Man. Well,
So for anybody struggling
I
out there,
haven't seen you in a couple weeks in person. I mean,
I know. I'm excited to show it off and with a clear screen.
we'll have to find some time to get in the speaker studio this week, and we'll get some real up close images, and our YouTube following will be ecstatic about that.
Oh yes, no doubt, much better.
They'll be pumped. So, hey, so a couple of things. If we mentioned we've got some stickers here. If you want some stickers, email me at wrightstewartpodcast@gmail.com. We'll get some stickers out to you. Again, that is wrightstewartpodcast@gmail.com. Continue to like and subscribe on all the socials and make sure you're leaving reviews for us. That means a lot to us and it helps us out in our algorithms on all the podcasts as well. But we appreciate y'all listening today. Hey, have a great Sunday.
Out, go Pack. Better than the day before. Don't know.